Hello, everybody, and welcome to Overcome Barriers to Senior Leadership Promotion for Introverted Women. Just wait a few seconds as more people join. I'm streaming live here on LinkedIn and on Facebook as well. So I'll just wait a few seconds for more people to join. And as we're waiting for people to join, just type in the comments what part of the world you're joining from today. Hello, hi there. Hello, right. Oh, we've got someone from India. That's fantastic. Hamilton, Ontario, from the UK. Right. We've got quite a wide range of places. We've got Thailand, we've got US, we've got Ohio, we've got Sicily, North London. Well, hello and welcome. It's been a long time for those of you who used to regularly attend my LinkedIn Lives. It's been a long time since I last did one. For those of you who don't know, that I was studying, so some things had to give. I had to sort of cut back on some of the things that I was doing because I was studying for a master's full-time, as well as running my business full-time, and it was the busiest period I've ever had in my business. So welcome. So I've coached many leaders to secure senior leadership promotions, and there are some common barriers that I see time and time again that get in their way of them getting those leadership promotions. And so when they come to me for coaching and they explain what those challenges have been, I see some common ones. And in this live session, I'm going to be sharing what these barriers are and how you can overcome them so that you can go on and secure your promotion. And for those of you that may need further support in developing as a leader, I will share at the end a link to my Unleash Your Leadership Potential online course, and I will give you a 30% discount. And so for those of you that don't know me, who are seeing me for the first time, my name is Carol Stewart, and I'm an executive career leadership coach and author of Quietly Visible, Leading with Influence and Impact as an Introverted Woman. And I coach leaders, and I specialize in introverted women who are senior leaders. I coach them to overcome the challenges and barriers to their leadership success, and overcome things such as imposter syndrome, a lack of confidence, self-doubt, or they're struggling to have that executive presence or to be influential and make an impact. And I coach them to lead with confidence, influence, and impact. And if we're not connected, then follow me here on LinkedIn or send me a connection request. And what we're going to be covering today is what I see as probably the biggest barrier, and that's that not believing in yourself, or that those self-limiting beliefs that get in the way of you achieving what you need to achieve, not positioning yourself and not promoting yourself. And so hopefully by the end of this session, you'll be clear about what steps you can take to overcome these barriers and go on and get your senior leadership promotion. So if you start with not believing in yourself, and I would say that 95 to 98% of the people that come to me for coaching who are not getting promoted have challenges with they're not believing in themselves in one way or another. And it might be that they think that they can't get it, they think that they're not good enough, that they're doubting themselves in some way or another. I'll give you an example. One particular client who, she knew her stuff, she knew that she was more than capable, but what happened to her was when she went for interviews, she would look at the other candidates, and because they would appear more confident, or they would be, particularly where it was men who were sort of strutting around confident, she would then look at that and think to herself, oh gosh, I'm not as good as them, and start to doubt herself. And as a result, that would affect how she went into the interviews and how she performed. And many of us are very much led by our emotions, and the way that we think affects how we feel, and we act and behave according to how we're feeling. And that's often as a result of the thoughts and beliefs that we have about ourselves, what it is that we need to do, the environment they're in, or some of the sort of situation that we're doubting ourselves, or we're putting ourselves down. And the thing is to recognize that it's that thinking that is getting in the way, because if you can change what you think and believe about yourself, you'll change how you feel. If you change how you feel, you will change how you act and behave. And so, with using the example of this particular client, who would look at other people and put herself down in the process, thinking that she's not as good as them, one of the things that I challenged her on was, well, how does she know what they're going? They may appear confident on the outside, but she doesn't know what they're thinking on the inside. She knew her stuff. She had in more than enough experience. And so just by getting her to challenge what she thought and believed about these other people who she thought looked more confident than her, helped her to change what she how she felt, and that changed how she acted and behaved. So what are the things that you doubt yourself about when it comes to getting your promotion? What are the things that you worry about? What are the things that you feel anxious about? And then once you've identified what that is, just look at, well, what is a more rational perspective to have? What is a more helpful perspective to have about it? And look for the evidence that supports what you're thinking. So using another client, he was thinking that, well, if he gets the promotion, then the team that he would then have responsible for as a director, they're probably going to look at him and think, well, who does he think he is? He doesn't, he's only been here X amount of time and hasn't got that level of knowledge or experience. And so one of the things that he did was I challenged him on that, and got him to look at, even though he'd only been at the organization for, it was just under 2 years, he'd got years of experience in that particular field, which he was bringing with him into the role. And also, how does he know that people are going to be thinking that or saying that? And even if they did think or say that, well, what's the worst that could happen? That's not going to stop him. And the people that would have promoted him would have believed that he has demonstrated that he has the ability and the experience, and that he's the best person for the role. And so by just challenging himself in that way, it changed how he felt, and it enabled him to feel more confident about what he needed to do in order to get that promotion. Right, I'm just going to have a look at the comments and see if there's anything. So I've got a comment here. Part of the problem is the perception of others. Even if you are promoted, they doubt competence and do not support the way they support young new talent. And this is something similar to the client that I just mentioned, who his situation was the perception of other people, or what he presumed would be the perceptions of other people, but there was no evidence to support what he was thinking. If you've been promoted, or if you've been selected, you have been deemed the best person for the role, and the people that selected you believed it, and it's about you believing that yourself. And when you step into a new role, people that may have gone for the role themselves or been in the role for a long time, they may think, well, who do you think you are? Or they may think that you don't have the competence, but how accurate is that? How real is that? If you've been deemed the best person for the role, then others believe that you are the best person for the role, that you have that competence and that you have the ability. The next thing I want to talk about is not positioning yourself. So when you think about going for promotion, being strategic and positioning yourself for it will mean that you will create more opportunities and a pathway for it to happen. And when I say positioning yourself for it, I'll give you an example. So prior to starting my coaching business, I worked in an organization, and I started off in a very junior role, and I got promoted a number of times to a senior role. And the last role that I got promoted into was as a result of positioning myself. So I had been at a conference, and one of the head of operations from another area was at this particular conference, and I was speaking to her in one of the breaks, and she told me that she was going on maternity leave, and that would create an opening in her area. And she was sort of encouraging me, that I should go for it. And I thought, yes, I would definitely want to go for it. So what I did was I saw that a position had come up the same level as I was at in that area, and I applied for it with the intention of making a sideways move so that once I was in that area, I would raise my visibility, I'd raise my profile so that people would know me, and I'd be able to demonstrate that I can do that role. And that's what I did. So I went through the selection process of applying for that sideways move. Got a very tough interview. I was successful. And then when I was there, I took on stretch projects and volunteered to lead on different projects. And that raised my visibility amongst those who were more senior in that area. And then when the position came up, I applied for it and I was successful. I had to go through a competitive process, interview and do a presentation, but I really believe that by positioning myself in that way, moving into that particular area, taking on those stretch projects, leading on certain projects, demonstrated that I had the ability to perform at that level, and also enabled me to build up relationships and connect with people as well. So think about how you can position yourself for what it is that you want to do. Have you told people that you are looking to be promoted? Let people know that you're looking for the opportunities, you're looking to gain experience, and that you want to get promoted. So think about the stretch projects that you can get involved with, that you can take on as well. Another thing that you can do to position yourself is utilizing your network. Utilizing your network, one for identifying opportunities, for be letting them know that you are wanting promotion, so that you can oftentimes hear about opportunities through your network. You can get support through your network. So utilize your network. And I'll give you an example of a client of mine who was, this wasn't an internal promotion. She was looking for something externally, didn't really use LinkedIn, and I encouraged her to utilize LinkedIn. And she started to connect with people that she were within her network, people that she'd met previously, and arranged to meet up for coffee. One person that she met for a coffee, it turned out that they were a non-executive director on the board of an organization that she'd applied for chief operating officer role. And that person was able to then talk about her favorably to in the organization, and she went through the selection process, and she was successful. It was a very competitive process, but she was successful. But by her reaching out to her LinkedIn connection in that way, and then being able to vouch for her, will have gone in her favor. So think about how you're positioning yourself and what you can do in order to do that. Let me just see if there's any comments. So let's have a look. So I've seen your comment, Diana, that the situation has evidence they did not support and had a sink or swim attitude. And sometimes you may find yourself in situations where, you know, there is no, it's so far out of your control that there's nothing that you can do. And in which case you may need to think about, if you're not getting that support, who can give you that support? And also think about, if the situation is too toxic, is that the environment that you want to be in? And then it may be a case of, if the environment is too toxic, that you remove yourself from the environment. Let's have a look what else we've got. I feel biased behavior by seniors that block promotion and will make you lose your confidence no matter how much you know you can do the job. And yes, that can be a challenge. And what I would suggest in those sorts of situations is that, you know, you may not be able to control the behaviors of others, but what you can do is manage how you respond to that. And if you find that you are in an environment that you are not able to influence the behaviors of seniors, or there's nobody that you can go with regards to that, then is that the environment that you want to be in? So sometimes you have to choose your battles wisely. And if there is a bias there, is there anybody there that you can go to discuss that with? If you feel that there is no one whatsoever, that there is, again, what I mentioned to Diana, if you feel that the environment is too toxic, then think about whether that is the environment that you want to be in. So let's see what else we've got here. Positioning yourself. I like the language you use. Thank you, Michelle. Networking is key. Yes, networking is key. And the thing as well is, there's a lot of opportunities that can come about just about having a diverse network that you're connected to. You get to hear about opportunities as well as people being able to make introductions. So I agree, networking is key. Networking has been vital for me. And so moving on, so I've talked about your belief in yourself and not positioning yourself. And the final point I want to make is about not promoting yourself. So when I say promoting yourself, that's self-promotion and raising your visibility and your profile. And research suggests that extroverts get more opportunities at work because their performance is more visible. And gone are the days where your work would speak for itself. And the way that a lot of this work these days, the people that need to know about you don't often get to know about you, or the people who have the influence or who are the decision makers may not necessarily get to know about you. So it's about thinking about how you can promote yourself to raise your visibility and profile. And many introverts don't like self-promotion, or many people who are introverted don't like self-promotion because they don't like being in the spotlight. Introverts typically don't want to be in the spotlight, or are not fussed about being in the spotlight. And sometimes self-promotion can feel as if you are really putting yourself in the spotlight. It feels like bragging or boasting, and it feels uncomfortable because it can feel very self-centered if you are looking at it in that way. Or another thing that I see with sort of introverted leaders are that they feel that they have to put on a persona and act extroverted. But that is not true, because you can self-promote and raise your visibility in ways which feel authentic and ways which work for you. And so in order to promote yourself, one of the first things I would say is to reframe how you view self-promotion. So rather than looking at it as, oh, you're going out there, it's all me, 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 you're just talking about yourself, reframe it and look at it as you are letting other people know about your successes and achievements and the difference that you've made, and put the spotlight on the outcomes that you have achieved rather than yourself. And this is an area that I often see women hold themselves back or are unsuccessful because they haven't, and I don't like to use the word sold, but I will use it, they haven't sold themselves well enough at the interview. So they talk a lot about the we've achieved this, or we've done that, as in what the team has achieved, but they don't highlight the part that they have played. So one particular client was specifically given this feedback and was told that she didn't demonstrate that she had the ability to perform at that next level. And the reason being was because she talked a lot about the team effort or what the team had achieved. And whilst it's good to acknowledge the team effort, you also need to be highlighting the part that you played and the difference that you've made so that you can showcase that you can perform at that next level. So put the spotlight on the outcomes that you've achieved and focus on that, on the part that you played and the difference that that has made. And another way that you can promote yourself is by demonstrating your thought leadership. That helps you to raise your visibility and showcase your knowledge and expertise. Ways in which you can do that are writing articles or blogs for your company's intranet site or newsletters, contacting your industry publications and offering to write for either the publication or for their website an article that demonstrates your area speciality. That helps to raise your profile and raise your visibility. And another thing is speaking on panels, and if your industry has or your sector has particular conferences, if your organization is holding conferences, put yourself forward to speak on a panel as a way of demonstrating your knowledge and expertise, or even put yourself forward to be a keynote speaker. That helps you to raise your visibility, helps you to raise your profile, and helps you to promote yourself without saying, hey, look at me. It's by you're just letting people see the talent that you have and the knowledge and expertise that you have. Right, let me look at the comments before I go any further. Put my glasses back on to read the comments. So I've got a comment here. I find that women who are initially very happy with me as a teammate often feel very intimidated or unhappy when I do assert myself. And you know, that could often be about them and their insecurities. If you are asserting yourself, it could be about them. Another comment. Sometimes the organisation may be in transition, which makes it difficult for new senior leaders to establish themselves. It's important to seek insider knowledge if you can before you apply for a role. As Carol says, the toxicity is often hidden. Thank you for that, Caroline. Let's have a look anymore. Diana said, if someone is worth promoting, they are worth coaching. And yes, I would agree with that. And coaching, it can really help you in regards to getting promoted. Caroline has said, don't let yourself be labelled as the introverted one. We need all types of personality in a senior leadership team. And that is so true, Caroline. We really do. If everybody is the same, then you get groupthink. You lack diversity of thought and thinking styles and that creativity and innovation that comes when you've got those different personalities around the table. Right, and Diana's suggesting a TED Talk. That's great. Yes, a TED Talk is another way of showcasing your expertise and knowledge. Caroline is saying the I statement as opposed to the we statements. Yes. Focus on, yes, it's good to acknowledge the team effort, but don't do it at the extent of not also highlighting and showcasing your efforts as well. So I will come back to more of the comments after. So continuing with self-promoting, utilize LinkedIn. Whether you're looking for to move up, whether to an external role or even an internal role, you can still utilize LinkedIn. One client, what she did was she started publishing articles on LinkedIn, and then she would get her colleagues, people that she was connected with, people who were more senior, commenting, oh, I didn't know that you knew about this, or that you had expertise in this particular area. That was another way of her raising her visibility, using an external platform to raise her visibility and to showcase her knowledge and expertise internally. Likewise, your company's intranet page, commenting on posts that are put on there. One particular client commented on something on the company's LinkedIn page that she got spotted by the CEO, who got her involved in a particular project to sort of help lead on a particular project. That was a great way of her raising her visibility. Another way is to get a sponsor. So someone who is more senior and influential within your organization or even externally, that can champion your cause, that can open up doors of opportunity for you, and who can also tell other people about you. So I had a client who had been acting up into a role on a temporary basis. She'd been on a temporary promotion, and when the new CEO started, and they were looking to fill the role substantially, the rumor was that the CEO wasn't going to even consider her. And so what we looked at was, well, how can she raise her visibility? How can she come under the radar of the new CEO? And one of the things that we identified was getting external sponsors. And so stakeholders who were at the level of the CEO, was developing and nurturing their relationships with them, and offering good value and being of good service to them. So what happened was they went back and they would talk about her to the CEO. And one day she was in the lift and the CEO was in the lift as well. She'd never had a conversation with the CEO before, but the CEO mentioned, oh, I've just been speaking to such and such. That was his counterpart in one of the stakeholder companies. And they were saying how much you'd help them to resolve a particular issue that they had. So that meant that she came under the CEO's radar. And as a result of that, she was able to work on that and develop that. And then when the role was advertised substantively, she applied for it and she was successful. So who needs to know about you, your successes and your achievements and the difference that you've made? And how can you let them know? And just give a thought about that and type in the chat. Who needs to know about you and how can you let them know? And also think about what else you could do in order to raise your visibility and profile, and share some thoughts in the chat, in the comment, because that will also help other people who are online or those who will come on and listen after. So to wrap up, we've covered 3 of the common barriers that I come across on a regular basis, and they are not believing in yourself, not positioning yourself, and not promoting yourself. And I will have a look to see if there are any comments or questions that have come up. But I want you to think about, what can you do as a result of this session, as a result of what I've shared with you? What could you do differently going forward so that you put yourself in the best place to get your promotion? And I'm going to go through the comments. I will also put a link to my course that I mentioned. Let me just get the link and I will share that with you. So there, I've put it in the comments. So if anybody wants to sign up for that, you'll get a 30% discount, which will be available for the next 48 hours. All right, let's have a look at comments. All right, so I've got a question here. What steps do you recommend to find your own leadership style using the strengths of being an introvert, being introverted? So what is your preferred way of being a leader? So it's about identifying your preferred way or your natural way, but also recognizing situations where you may need to modify your behavior to get the best outcome. And this is something that applies to all leaders, whether you're introverted, extroverted, or an ambivert, that you need to be able to determine a situation and modify your behavior. And in terms of finding your own leadership style, what I may do is, what I think I will do actually, is do a LinkedIn Live on identifying your leadership style and utilizing those introverted strengths. So let me make a note of that. I'll do that for the next LinkedIn Live. But in the meantime, if you want to, I don't know if you're subscribed to my Quietly Visible newsletter on LinkedIn, but I've got lots of articles on there about leadership styles, but I will do leadership styles and adapting your leadership style. So when you think about the different styles of leadership, are you somebody who likes to be collaborative with your team? Are you somebody who is naturally more directive? So think about what comes naturally to you and how you may need to modify depending on the situation, how you may need to adapt according to the situation. But I will make the next one about leadership styles. Right, I've got another comment here. It's important not to be shy about your talent, and I agree with that. Thank you for that. Diana has said, LinkedIn is a great tool for visibility and information. It certainly is. It's a fantastic tool. Yes, you have earned your talent. Thank you, Diana. Mentors on LinkedIn are great also. They certainly are. So I've got a comment here. It is sad though that someone else has to talk about your strengths to come under the radar of your leader who should be interested in your welfare. The thing is, Donna, that particularly if that leader is not your direct leader or is sort of far removed from you and your work, they may not necessarily get to see or hear about you. And having a sponsor is and a lot of organizations actually have sponsorship schemes where they will match up someone from the executive team or the senior leadership team with an aspiring leader or someone who's showing talent of progressing to senior leadership, who will sponsor them. And a sponsor will open up doors of opportunity for you by championing you to those who may not ordinarily get to see you or hear about you. But once they open that door, you still have to walk through it. So you still have to do the work that will enable you to get that promotion. Right, let's see what other comments I've got before I sign off. So I'll read some of your comments about what you're going to do differently. So I've got a comment here. Thanks a lot. I'm feeling a little more confident. That's great. Stop talking myself out of opportunities such as high profile speaking engagements. Fantastic. And the more you do these speaking engagements, the easy it will come. So practice, 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 practice brings confidence. Oh, thank you, Donna. Said it's extremely helpful, the session. Volunteer area of expertise. And that is a great way of getting that experience, is volunteering in your area of expertise. Believing in themselves and being confident, not trying to please everybody, instead identifying a focused goal into creating a significant contribution to the organisation. Well, thank you, everybody. It's been great to deliver once again. I think January 2022 was the last time I did a LinkedIn live, so it's great to be back. And yes, so the next one will be about your leadership style and how to adapt as a leader. So do connect with me, follow me, sign up to my LinkedIn newsletter so that you can hear about the next session, which I will do next month. And I have shared the link, so do, if you feel that you need more support than what you can get on the LinkedIn Live, I've shared the link to my online course, or do drop me a message if you maybe want to arrange to have a conversation. So thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.